Joining us now, Roland Martin. He's the host and managing editor of #Roland Martin Unfiltered and author of The First. Also with us, Sonia Pruitt, former chairperson of the National Black Police Association and a retired captain for Montgomery County, Maryland. Thank you to both of you for being here this morning. Roland, I just want to start with you because I have kind of lost track of the number of tweets the president has sent this morning. The overwhelming majority of them are retweets, some from prominent far-right characters and conspiracy theorists, all having to do with Portland. And of course, as Shaq just said, he's going to go to Kenosha in the next couple of days. Look at this. This is a list of tweets. There's so many of them that we're not actually showing you the tweets. This is just a one line-by-line list.
Sure.
This is a moment which calls for leadership, Roland. Often we turn to the president for this leadership. We're seeing something else entirely.
Of course, and white America has to answer the question, what are you going to do? Why am I saying that? Because let's just be real honest as possible. 69% or so of the total electorate in November will be white Americans. What Donald Trump is doing, Donald Trump is not trying to appeal to African Americans or Latinos or Asians or Native Americans. He is specifically trying to appeal to white fear. He does not mind what's going on in Portland and Kenosha. In fact, he loves it because it plays right into his strategy of scaring white Americans, which was the exact same thing he did in 2016. The fact that this White House plans to go to Kenosha and he wants to meet with law enforcement, not about what happened with Jacob Blake, not about other types of shootings. No, he is going to go there, pat them on the back. Is he going to ask them, how did you allow a shooter, Kyle Rittenhouse, to literally walk right past you and make it all the way home and no one stopped him and questioned him? How did you say, glad to the militia, glad to see you guys out here? These are the questions that people are asking, and we have to be real honest and call it what it is. These are direct appeals to white Americans to vote for him, saying only I control what's going on.
Captain Pruitt, let's just talk about this for a second, because if you get all your information from Twitter and you look at sort of right-wing Twitter, the narrative is that this kid is just a kid, the kid who shot the two protesters in Kenosha. And in fact, this is what happens when you don't have law and order. People have to take the law into their own hands. It was self-defense, all that kind of stuff. And the narrative about Jacob Blake is that this guy was not a good egg and police were trying to apprehend him. But in the end, whatever the truth of those two stories are, the reality, in both cases we have video, is that a white kid with a semi-automatic weapon who had just shot two people was not apprehended by police, and a man was shot 7 times in the back while walking away from police. This becomes, for some people, this becomes much clearer than it is on Twitter.
Absolutely. And both Roland and Mr. Blake said it best. There are two separate systems for black people, one for black people, and then there's one for everybody else. And in the black system, we are always the criminal. I think the president just recently called Black Lives Matter protester thugs. That's dog whistle for us. And we understand that he is referring to black people when he says that. And yet he is going to Kenosha, where he is going to exacerbate the situation and probably make it worse. But, you know, I like to talk from a historical standpoint. That's my instructor coming through here. And that historical standpoint is about vigilanteism. Vigilanteism is not new in our country. It started with slave patrols when poor white men were hired to oversee black men, black slaves. Then we fast forward to the civil rights movement, for instance, and we have the KKK, which was saturated with police officers. And now here we are in 2020 when we have reports of police officers being involved on social media in these white nationalist groups. Okay, and then we have a 17-year-old white boy come from another state into Wisconsin and just is embraced by the police instead of stopped for being the criminal that he is after shooting and killing 2 people.
There are people who are concerned, Sonia. I just want to ask you, by the way, Sonia Pruitt is also a professor of criminal justice. That's what she was referring to at Montgomery College. She teaches courses on policing and police organization and police administration. And Sonia, there is a solution in all of this that does lie with police. And I often fear, you and I have had this conversation, that the things that have happened over the last several months in America have made some people think all police are bad. How do we fix this for the good police who are out there? What is the structure and the organization that needs to change in order to make policing good and to bring out the good in the police that are out there, who I believe do risk their lives for our public safety? And at this point, they are all being painted with the same brush because of the prominence of these incidents we're talking about.
So I'm going to make it simple. Silence is complicity. I don't care who you are right now in this country. If you are a white person, if you are a black police officer, if you're not standing for what is right, then your silence is complicity in this mess that we are in right now. And it's a dangerous mess. We're at the urgency of now. And so this is what I tell people. Vote, 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 vote. If people don't understand the intersection, here it is. You vote for a sheriff. You vote for a mayor and a county executive who then picks a police commissioner or police chief. You vote for a state's attorney or a district attorney. These are the people who can turn things around. Oh, and you also vote for those people who are sitting in Congress. Pick the people who are going to do the right thing in these situations, and that is pass these laws that will hold police officers accountable for what they do, and then also hold accountable those people who are in charge by withholding federal funding, by withholding state funding. Those are the things that we can do.
Ali, I agree with Sonia on all of that.
Roland, these are some tough times.
I agree with her on that, but you asked a very specific question, and we have to actually say it. All of those good cops have got to say something. But here's what happens. When you have police who are held accountable, other police officers respond by saying, we're going to slow down patrols. Look what happened in Atlanta when you had the protest there, when they actually fired those cops.
What happened in Buffalo?
All of a sudden, they start retiring. In Buffalo, in Florida, all these examples. And so we keep saying good cops. When are the good cops going to show up? When are the good cops going to stand up and say, what happened here is simply wrong? Sure, a few retired cops say that, but that's the problem. The blue wall, and Donald Trump appeals to law enforcement. Who spoke at his convention? Who endorsed him? The head of the New York Police Union. And so we have to understand what is at play here. And he said it, they are keeping them from doing their job. And so he is appealing to them. And when white voters hear that, they also go, hey, they are here to protect and serve. Black folks saying, but they're not here to protect and serve us. And we have to confront that fundamental issue, which still comes down to white and black in America.
You know, Sonia Pruitt, when I talked to Senator Cory Booker the other day about this, because he keeps, Trump sometimes mentions him in his tweets to suburban women and suburban people about how the poor are going to come and invade your neighborhoods and ruin your property values. And he said that dog doesn't hunt anymore. I'm worried that the senator might be wrong.
Yes, it does.
The dog might still hunt. The black people are going to come and ruin your neighborhoods. It may still work.
No. I'm sorry. I'm going to follow up with what Roland just talked about. This thing is so, first of all, we're so polarized. And I agree with Roland about the black officers, okay, of which I have been one, of which I have led a whole group of black officers. And we're talking about these apples in an apple cart. That I told you about last time that we spoke, where I'm like, we need to turn over this apple cart and find these good apples, because if so many good apples, then they should really be kind of like outnumbering these bad apples. I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to talk to my peers. People, black officers, you need to get woke, you need to get educated, and those dog whistle conversations and that trauma that is consistently, and I'm getting excited about this, consistently being instilled upon us, we cannot keep ignoring. I mean, it has been hundreds of years since we've been fighting this battle. So now what are we going to do?
The dog whistle does work, Ali. it works. And Donald Trump knows it, and that's why he's doing it, and he is doing it specifically targeting Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, Arizona. That's what he's doing. He is appealing to white nationalism and white fear to get him reelected. That's why the onus, stop looking for black people to save America again. The onus has to be on white America. Are you going to reject Donald Trump's racist appeals? No Democrat has gotten a majority of the white vote since Lyndon Baines Johnson in 1964. You have to ask the question, why?
Just like it for you, Roland, to bring up a text, and you know I was in your hometown a couple days ago for the coverage of the hurricanes, and I wish your fellow Texans and Louisianans well in the recovery. Good to see you, my friend. Roland Martin is the host and managing editor of Roland Martin Unfiltered. Sonia Pruitt is a retired police captain, a vocal retired police captain who speaks for social justice for Montgomery County, Maryland. She's a former chairperson of the National Black Police Association, and we're grateful that she teaches students what she knows as a professor of criminal justice administration at Montgomery College. Thanks to both of you.